All right, time to wrap it up with the last few chapters. Chapter 17, Final Battle. It was the fastest boss battle ever. I'll try to describe everything slowly to make the battle seem longer than the 1.2 seconds it took. When I ducked behind the rock for the last time, the sergeant started talking again. You can practice your skills. I interrupted him. I'm so sorry, I said before raising my arm cannon. The sergeant, bless his little robot heart, did not react one bit. Anytime at the firing, blast! He vaporized and did exactly what Eric and I had been doing the whole game when we got shot. He reappeared at the beginning of the level in Eric's waiting arms. I peeked back around the rock. When he heard the blast, the Hindenburg looked this way, then that way, then finally behind him at Eric. Eric smiled and waved bye-bye. Pew! The Hindenburg tried rolling out of the way, but he was too late. The sergeant landed a direct hit. Wah! The Hindenburg looked up at the sky and let out an ear-piercing wail. Ah! The wail built and built until it caused everything in the level to vibrate, until it caused my insides to vibrate. Whirr! I covered my ears. The rock in front of me cracked. The alien to my right popped, just exploded in a flash of light. Then another, and pretty soon I was blinded by a sea of flashbulbs. The only thing I could see was the Hindenburg in front of me, melting. I closed my eyes. Roar! The wailing reached its highest pitch, then faded away. I kept my eyes closed for a few seconds longer before daring to open them. Carpet, controller, ratty old couch. I was back in Eric's basement.
Chapter 18, Mr. Gregory. I found Eric on the ground next to me, curled up in a ball. Hey, buddy, I said, we're back. He slowly opened his eyes and looked around the basement. Then he looked down. In his arms was a small toy soldier. A small toy soldier that looked exactly like the sergeant from the video game. What just happened? He looked up at the TV. The screen was black except for a single message. Hindenburg protocol aborted. Eric pressed all the buttons on the controller, but the screen wouldn't go away. He restarted the game, but the message just came back. He even tried unplugging and replugging everything, but nothing worked. The game was fried. Eric finally turned to me. Was that real? Of course it was real. Nothing had ever felt more real, and yet the jetpacks, the grown-up Mark, and the Statue of Liberty rocket ship, how could any of that have actually happened? He looked at the clock, 3:24 p.m. Not even 1 hour had passed since I entered the video game. The more Eric and I talked about all of our crazy experience, the more it felt like we had just woken up from a super weird nap. We decided to visit the one person who could give us answers, Charlie's dad. We hopped on our bikes, and it felt really sad to ride a bike again instead of a hover tank, and rode to Charlie's house. Charlie's family lived in the nice part of town in a home that looked kind of like it had been set back from the future. Eric rang the doorbell. Charlie came to the door and lit up when he saw us. Hey guys, what's up? Is your dad home, I asked? Charlie slouched. Yeah, sure, wait here. He seemed sad that people were only using him to get to his dad again. After a few minutes, Charlie's dad, Mr. Gregory, came to the door. He was a skinny man with big glasses and hair that looked like a porcupine with bedhead. What can I do for you boys, he asked. You worked on Full Blast, right? Eric said. Sure did. How are you enjoying it? Well, Eric paused and looked at me before continuing. It tried to kill us, but other than that, it was cool. Mr. Gregory squinted at us and cocked his head. Eric went on to talk about everything that had happened to us happened to us that afternoon. Reality mode and the Hindenburg and everything. At first, Mr. Gregory looked genuinely puzzled. Then when he got to the part about Mark, he looked scared. That's impossible, he said when Eric finished. You need to stop with these stories. Mr. Gregory may have been acting like he didn't believe us, but his pale face and shaky voice said otherwise. Please, I said, you've got to believe us. I can't believe that. You've got to help us, I continued. For Mark. Mr. Gregory's face softened. I promise you, I don't know anything, but he glanced down at the street and lowered his voice. I'll see what I can find out. Thank you very much. That was 2 weeks ago. No one has seen Mr. Gregory since.
Jeez. Chapter 19. Are you sure? Yes. The Hindenburg got closer. I could feel his hot breath coming out of the gas mask. It reached one of its tentacle fingers out to touch me. Yes. I popped out of bed. Another bad dream, the fourth in the past week. Why couldn't I dream about flying around in a jetpack instead? Why did it have to only be the scary parts? Eric and I had spent the 2 weeks since we escaped from the video game figuring out our next move. Where was Mr. Gregory? What could we do to save Mark? Who else could we tell? Did the whole thing even happen? In the meantime, Eric had sworn off video games. No need to take any chances. I, of course, did not need an excuse to stay away from video games for the rest of my life. I lay down, closed my eyes, and tried to fall back asleep. Jesse? My eyes popped open again. I looked around the room. Nothing. But somebody definitely whispered my name, right? Or was this another dream? Jesse. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught movement on the nightstand. I looked closer. Just my alarm clock, lamp, spelling bee trophy, and Sergeant action figure. I decided to keep the toy sergeant from the video game as a souvenir. Jesse. It was the sergeant. The room was dark, but I definitely saw his mouth move. I got closer. The sergeant took a stiff step forward. You can save him, he said. Save who? I would usually be a little more hesitant about talking back to plastic toys, but I guess these things seem a little less weird after you've flown around Hawaii in a jetpack. Mark, he said, but you have to go back now. My head started spinning. Do you want to go back? Yes, I whispered. Are you sure? The end.